So the thing is, Al,
Yes.
the enemy always has a say, doesn't it?
The enemy gets a vote, that's what they say, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in my trusty moleskin here,
Oh, great, brilliant.
yeah, I've got a list of who's here and what they do. And what is amazing is just how quick the Germans are able to respond to this.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you can argue the toss about how good or bad tactically the Germans were.
Yeah.
You can argue the toss about whether man for man and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
You can certainly say that by the end of this part of the war, they're not very well trained, or at least a large number of them aren't very well trained.
Yeah.
One thing you can't deny is their ability to move troops pretty quickly, even through the wreckage of the Reich.
Yeah.
It is something quite amazing to behold. They do it on the Eastern Front, they do it in Italy, they're doing it here in Northwest
They've had
Europe.
a lot of practice.
They have had a lot of practice, to be fair. So Bittrick, who is the 2 SS Panzer Corps commander, he learns that Arnhem Bridge has been taken by 2 women telephonists at the Arnhem Exchange.
Right.
So that's how he learns.
Right.
And what he's got in this area, of course, because it's 2 SS Panzer Corps, he's got the 9th SS under General Major Hartzer, or whatever his equivalent, Brigadenführer or whatever he's called.
SS rank.
SS rank. And he's also got the 10th SS. Now, 10th SS is due to go back to Berlin for refitting. So half of its
stuff is on wagons.
It's on wagons, and some of it's already departed.
Just over there.
Literally just over there.
Yeah.
So actually, it's not a massive sweat to get them unloaded again. Yeah. Which they do, toot sweet.
Yeah. Well, and they're unloading them right where they need them as well. That's the the unfortunate part.
General Feldmarschall Model. He arrives here on the 18th of September and says, right, we're going to kick some arse. We're going to turn things around. So he gets the Heavy Panzer Battalion 503, which is on its way to Königsbruck near Dresden. Okay. You know, Dresden is literally the kind of opposite end of, you know, if we're northwest part of the Reich, it's in the southeast part of the Reich. And that is given rail priority. Which means lines have to be cleared. So it's like, anything else is going, forget it. Just get these trains up.
And these are Tiger tanks, aren't they?
Yeah. So they're basically, they can be up here in, 12 hours.
12 hours.
Yeah. So there's also 14 Tigers from the Heavy Panzer Battalion 506, which is at Paderborn. Which is not so far away. That's North Germany. They're on their way by 8 a.m. They also cut off the water supplies at Oosterbeek. A modal staff are hurriedly organising reinforcements throughout the night of the 17th, 18th. No one's going to bed that night. And what they work out, so it's like, what have we got in the area? What have we got, boys? What can we use? And it is just amazing. There's all these different units, ad hoc units all over the place. There's no unit cohesion whatsoever. You can, there's 10th SS, 9th SS, but don't think of these as divisions, as whole formations. These are just ad hoc units which are just flung together. Get yourselves to Nijmegen, get yourselves to Arnhem.
But that will work. Absolutely anything. That
it will in the Nazi state.
Yeah.
Because there's this thing called discipline.
Well, there's also, let's say, a liberal attitude to casualties. So
there's also a liberal attitude to casualties. So, the 280th Assault Gun Brigade, who's coming from Denmark to Aachen, that's immediately diverted to Arnhem instead. So Aachen, first sort of German city on Western Germany. 3 battalions of 600 men sent. There's also 9 Alarmen Einheiten. They're units of 1,400 men in total. There's 2 Panzerjäger companies of tank destroyers from Herford. 6 motorised Luftwaffe companies, totaling 1,500 men. There's a Flakkampfgruppe of Luftwaffe of 10 batteries, totaling 36 88mm and 39 20mm guns.
I don't like the sound of that.
No, they're coming to Arnhem. And as they arrive, they're immediately distributed under the command of 9th and 10th SS.
Yeah.
So Haas's 9th SS has around 5,000 men. So this is like a quarter of what it should be.
Yeah.
You know, Waffen-SS Panzer divisions tend to be, if you think a normal division, Second World War division is 15, 16,000 men.
They're larger.
They're larger. They're more like 20. Yeah. So Harmer's 10th SS, Frundsberg, they get the Tigers from Paderborn.
Yeah.
Although only 3 arrive as it happens, but you know, 3 actually adds up to, it does add up to a hill of beans
well, it does,
when you're against paratroopers.
Paratroopers, yeah.
Also 1 heavy mortar battalion.
Yeah.
1 engineer battalion with flamethrowers.
Yeah.
1 Panzer Grenadier training company.
Right.
Arriving from Emmerich.
Yeah.
Plus the SS Unterofficerschule.
Yeah.
Commanded by Oberstammführer Hans Lippert.
Yes.
They're also given a naval Schiffstammabteilung ID.
Yeah.
And a Fliegerhorst battalion of Luftwaffe ground crew.
Yeah.
And that's handed over to Lippert. So he's now got a battle group, effectively.
Kampfgruppe Lippert, yeah.
Yeah, Kampfgruppe Lippert.
So this is the thing, if you look at a map of Arnhem and the German dispositions, and it says that they're SS this and SS that, you really have, they're being run by the SS.
But they're not all SS.
They're SS command, headquarters.
There's naval staff officers.
There's absolutely everybody.
Yep.
Right.
So basically these are sort of office clerks from the Navy, from the Kriegsmarine.
Yeah.
You've got these Luftwaffe ground troops and flak groups.
Yeah. Which maybe suggests, and as I said a moment ago, the Germans have a liberal attitude to casualties, and they're also fighting pretty well trained parachute and air landing infantry here who know what they're doing.
Yep.
So the Germans do lose a load of people here. It's really bad for them, but they
do they lose more than the paratroopers?
Yeah,
yes.
I think so. Yeah.
Yes, they're going to.
And you know. Some historians say you've got to just completely take the German figures with a pinch of salt about this battle. They
got absolutely mashed.
Double them, maybe.
Yeah, okay.
But what I think what's interesting though is that the German reaction is, they're also able to do this because it's not like Normandy. Normandy is a curated battle space that the Allies have been preparing for months, been getting ready, making it very difficult to get by train to Normandy, travel anywhere by air. You do not have that here in Arnhem. It does not exist.
The railway works.
Well, the railway works, and you don't have the air interdiction that you've had in Normandy.
No, because they haven't caught up yet.
Yeah, but also for the weeks before Normandy and then the weeks of the Normandy campaign, you know, you can't move by day if you're the German army.
That's not the same here, is it?
No. And it's not the same here because tactical air forces haven't caught up, and also because the whole point of this operation is you're doing it spontaneously. You don't spend the months preparing Arnhem as a place to capture by choking off all the ways in and the ways out.
No.
And so as a result, you don't bring that advantage. The Allies don't bring that advantage to the party, as it were. And I think.
But I think what you're talking about, you know, if both 9th and 10th SS, so let's say for argument's sake they've got about 5,000 in on the 17th of September. Yeah. All those extra forces that have been diverted, you know, that's doubling each.
Yeah, but you're already saying if they're already 5,000 strong each, 1st Airborne Division bring 10,000 people. Yeah. Right. So if your 3-to-1 is your if 3-to-1 is your attacking ratio, they don't got it. Right from the
word go, they haven't got it.
They haven't got it.
Because don't forget, 1st Airborne are attacking, not defending.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you add in flamethrowers and flak guns and tanks and SP guns, these self-propelled guns. Yeah. And heavy mortar battalions and flamethrowers and all this kind of heavy kit. Yeah. And 88mm guns.
Well, and also
20mm guns.
Yeah. And
none of which the airborne have.
Yeah. And also, everyone knows involved in this that this is the last frontier before the Reich.
Yes.
So you've got a high map thing going on. A little bit of incentive. Now, this is Oranjestraat.
Yes.
This is the Lombok housing estate, right?
Right.
And this is really where the layout of Arnhem makes all those German assets that they're able to bring to play, really like force multiplies them, and the disadvantages that the airborne bring to Arnhem are also multiplied in this space here. Because we've just here. We've just walked down from the high ground known as Dane Brink. At the end of the road there is the St. Elizabeth Hospital, right?
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah.
Which 16th Parachute Field Ambulance take over on day one. On their way through into the bridge, they're set up in there as planned. In fact, they are the only part of the airborne plan that goes according to plan on day one. It could be argued, right? The top there is a bridge over the railway with the cutting.
Of course, that's the railway.
It's high ground there as well.
Yep.
That's where the railway marshalling yards are, just up there.
Yeah.
Now, you were saying they're unloading, so they control the marshalling yards because that's where their kit is and where they need to be unloading kit from. That there is the main road from Oosterbeek, from the drop zones into Arnhem.
That's the Utrechtsweg.
So as you look at it on the camera, from right to left, that's the Utrechtsweg. Oosterbeek's over there, Arnhem's over there, the bridge is over there, right? So what you have here is what I like to call the bottleneck.
Yes.
Right, because for all of 1st Airborne's landing on these enormous drop zones, the ability to form up and everything, they are going to have to be squeezed through this area, which is, what, 600 metres? If that.
If that.
If that.
I'd say more like
But
400.
400, but it's a built-up area as well.
Yes.
So every house, every window could have a German machine gun in it. And what the Germans have got is they've got machine guns firing on fixed lines down here from the railway line.
Which is really easy because it's a straight line all the way down.
And the
So if you want to try and get across that road, you've got to dance
to
with
run
death.
for it, yeah. And that comes into play very, 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 very directly for some serious senior players in 1st Airborne Division, just over there, because after all, we're in one of those parts of a battlefield when you're walking the ground where you're actually going, well, that's just over there, and that's just over there, and that's just over there, and it all joins up. And coming here, when I first came here to talk to Jimmy Clemenson,
Yes.
20 years ago, it was an absolute revelation. You just go, oh right, okay, fine.
I get it.
I get it now. I see your problem, and I see that you really have no solution, and you can be the sharpest soldiers on the planet, but this is an insoluble problem, particularly if you're lightly armed parachute soldiers who don't have proper artillery backup, who don't have a couple of troops of Shermans to help things along, because that's impossible.
So what we should do next
is go and look at the actual bottleneck, where the roads
Go and look at the bottleneck.
where the roads converge and then split again, and what the plan of attack into the town is, and then we'll go and look at why there's no one in charge of the plan of attack into the town. It's just around the corner because the brigadier and the major general are trapped in a loft around the corner, and we'll get into the almost farcical. It would be funny if it weren't so terrible situation they find themselves in. But let's go down to the bottleneck now. Like and subscribe, I hate saying this.
So if you're fighting, you want room for manoeuvre, right?
You need to, even the most basic armchair general knows about trying to flank the other guy and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, and all that stuff. See, what you don't want to do is find yourself in a bottleneck, do you?
No, with nowhere to go.
So here we are, we're on this road, we've come up, this is part of the Lion route, the southern route.
Yeah, the lower
You just
road.
look through there, there's the river Niederrhein.
Yeah.
So you can't there's nowhere to go on the right.
Nope. Nowhere to go on
And
the
here we
right.
are, this junction here is with the Utrechtsweg.
So this is the main road that runs through Oosterbeek from the drop zones.
Yep.
General Cussen's corpse is
on this road.
all those kilometres back where he was
6 k's back or whatever
where he was bounced by the men from 3 Para.
Yep.
So the two roads meet, right?
So
Behind
suddenly
them,
2 roads become 1.
2 roads becomes 1. So all your transport, all your stuff,
Everything's suddenly being funneled into
and all
here.
your guys are suddenly going to be funneled into here. Now, one of the interesting things is,
But that's all right, because you just outflank it to the left.
except you can't because the railway line's up there,
Yeah.
and the Germans are controlling the railway line, and also,
So it's got basically it's gone like this.
yeah, everything's converging, and
Literally like a bottleneck.
and there are buildings up there as well as high ground. So
Mind your arm.
So the buildings, the buildings, you're going to have to fight your way through the buildings, take control of the buildings. So by the time 1 and 3 Para have got into the town, and second Parachute Battalion have got through to the bridge, by the time they come into the town,
So 1st Para is commanded by?
1st Para is Derek Doby,
Yes.
and John Fitch is the commander of 3
Yes.
Para, Lieutenant Colonel John
Oh,
Fitch.
they're all good fellows, aren't they?
They're great leaders, and their men really like them and all that. But and Doby has come back into Arnhem having gone all the way around, trying to go around the outside, hook around the outside up the Utrecht thing. So he finds his way in, they find their way in, and Fitch's guys find their way in. And on the Monday, there's an attack at around...
Monday the 18th.
On the 18th, about 10 o'clock in the morning, they try and push their way through, and they get stuck.
Yeah.
Right, and they get stuck on this next set of houses, which are sat next to the next problem with the bottleneck, which is this, right? Because these roads converge, they meet. All your transport, all your guys have got to come through here.
Yep.
Right? Then you've got a decision to make, right?
Yeah.
Because the road here, for about 100 metres, 120 metres, the roads converge, right?
Yeah. It's just this is your one route into town.
Yeah.
There's another route.
Up there, that road runs up to a bridge that crosses the railway line.
Yep. So you can't do that.
You can't do that, and also the Germans are able to bring vehicles over that railway line.
Yeah.
Right.
And they can also put machine guns up there.
Yeah. So AFVs.
So good luck walking past this.
Exactly. AFVs can pop up from there, and every now and again a Panzer does appear here, and a 6-pounder cruiser sort of rush out and deal with it, and then disappear themselves for fear of being mortared or attacked. Right. So, but the two roads converge, and then we come to the next issue with the bottleneck, which is the two roads
diverge again.
They split.
They bifurcate.
They bifurcate, right? And one goes up the hill on the embankment that sits above the river, and the other one drops down to the river, level with the river. Between them is a very, very steep bank, and it's no exaggeration, me doing this kind of gradient.
Yeah, well, you can see it from here.
Well, now it's covered. The interesting thing is now it's covered.
But it wasn't.
But it wasn't, right? We just got some roadworks we've got to nip round.
To negotiate.
Yeah. Now it's covered with vegetation, but it wasn't at the time.
Okay.
The other side of the river, and you see the houses are about to run out. At the end of this strip, there's a thing called the Rhine Pavilion, what they call the Rhine Pavilion, which is a large bit like a sort of dining building at the bottom, right? Overlooking the river. The other side of the river is a brickworks, which has, of course, in it anti-aircraft guns, because they're anti-aircraft guns guarding Arnhem Bridge.
Right. So, but the thing about an anti-aircraft gun is you can put it.
Yeah, you can do that with it, right?
Make it horizontal.
Make it horizontal. So what you've got is one axis of advance there, along the river. And the thing is, there's slit trenches and there are trenches dug into here for air raid protection. And these roadworks aren't helping actually.
It's so selfish of them.
One angle of attack is to go down along the bottom. The other is to go up along the top. Right. But the problem.
It's either or.
But the problem is, with that, is there is St Elizabeth Hospital at the end of this block.
There it is.
Which of course you can't occupy, you can't defend, you can't fight through. So you've got to work your way around that one way or another. But the railway line's behind it and some allotments, right?
Yeah.
It's really, really, really
there it is.
difficult.
So you can't just. What you really want to do is just go straight up the road.
Yeah, but you've been funneled into here. Then you've got to make a choice. If you go that way, you're under direct fire from the river.
Yeah.
Where the brickworks by the river. If you go up that way, the Germans are in the railway line, and also they've put in a blocking line at the end of the embankment here, where they've dug guys in, and there's oil tanks filled with sand and armoured cars and stuff at the other end of this embankment. So, back there, there's a supermarket back there. Next to it is a house.
The White House.
Which is where...
With the open window.
Yeah, which is where, come Tuesday morning...
Literally, that very White House next to the blue sign.
Come Tuesday morning, at sort of midnight. First of all, on the Monday night, there's mixed orders from division. Word comes from division, give up in the town, the bridge has fallen, Frost's not at the bridge anymore. And then they realise that Frost is still at the bridge, right? So actually put an attack in, and they were going to put an attack at 10 o'clock at night that night. That gets cancelled. They're back on at midnight. And in the cellar of there, around a guttering candle, and the Major Ian Tola, who's a glider pilot regiment guy, he sees this, witnesses it.
You've got Doby.
You've got Doby. You've got McCarty, who's the South Stafford's commanding officer.
Yes.
And you've got late to the party. He arrives late.
Who have been released?
Who've been released. Arriving late is George Lee from 11 Power, who are basically fresh. They've been taken away from 4th Parachute Brigade even before Brigadier Hackett arrives.
Right.
There's a bone of contention when he does arrive, because they've got the nearest RV to get into town quickest. They come up that route, and the idea is, the plan is, right, the South Staffords will go up the hill, up the embankment. One para will go along the bottom, right, and 11 para will come up kind of in reserve and cover the left shoulder, the South Staff left shoulder, which is where the railway line is.
Okay.
Yeah, but one para are going to go this way. 3 para at 3:30 in the morning. To no one knows about this because they're not all in touch with each other. 3 para put in an attack at 3:30 in the morning, down the riverfront. Right. Anyway,
right.
Fitch has 150 men left. They do this thing of, you know, because they've got hobnail boots on, right? So they wrap their clothes, the boots in cloth, so they can get around the streets. And they're knocking on doors, going, lads, we're up now. We're going, go. And they assemble, and really successfully, they go down, and then the light breaks. The Germans can see them, and it's absolute carnage. And there's mortaring coming all the way along the embankment, and they're watching it. The mortar barrage comes down, it moves 2 feet or a metre, whatever, moves all the way, down there. All coming up along here. And Fitch says, all right, we've got to get out of here. He's killed in the fighting withdrawing from there.
Wow.
But as
and what happens in mortar?
Mortar. As 3 para withdrawing, 1 para going in. So there's an amazing conversation between Dobie and this guy called Dorian Smith.
Yes.
And it's basically like, where are you going? I'm going down that way, old boy. I wouldn't do that if I were you. Why not? Well, it's full of machine guns and mortars. How do you know that? Because I've bloody well been there. Yes. Come with me then. Not bloody likely, right? One of those amazing encounters. But there's no one in. The critical thing here is there is no one in charge.
So no one's gripping it.
Because as we've said,
no one's making the big decisions. So what's happening is you're having lots of little spotty kind of.
And these battalion commanders are doing their best, and that we've got to get through to Johnny Frost at all costs, is what they're saying to each other. Yeah. But there's no one in charge.
Yes, but they can only make these decisions with the men that they've got.
Yeah. Yeah.
They can't make bigger decisions. They can't say, "Come on, you South Staffs, come and join us."
Yeah.
It's not within their remit.
Exactly.
So they can only ever do penny packet operations.
Yeah.
Penny packets are obviously not going to work.
But they're trying to do things as a brigade attack here. They're trying to do that, but there's no one actually in charge of coordinating it, because there is a command vacuum at the heart of 1st Airborne Division and in 1st Parachute Brigade. It often gets overlooked that 1st Parachute Brigade have also got a command vacuum, because the GOC, Roy Urquhart, is missing.
General Officer Commanding.
Major General Roy Urquhart is missing.
And so too
is Brigadier Gerald Lathbury, who is the commanding officer of 1st Parachute Brigade. Where are they, Jim?
Where are they,
Al? Possibly be? Well, they're only over there.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing about this part of the battlefield, is it is tiny.
Yeah.
It is tiny, and this is the crucible. This is where 4 battalions are destroyed, basically in this bottleneck within a day.
Yeah.
And I think we should go.
And while that's happening, Urquhart and Lathbury
are hiding in an attic just around the corner, and we should go and have a look at where that is and talk about how they end up there.
Yeah.
And also why actually it's totally in character for Roy Urquhart to find himself in this situation. We've got to go that way though.
All right.